Okay, we should be live.
All right. What is your name from the venture capitalist?
If not, you can just be Bryce.
I don't think I have a name.
All right.
I'm Bryce.
Hi Bryce. We are so excited to have you with us today and an opportunity to meet with you and discuss a potential collaboration together.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of research on your firm and really have a lot of positives about that. We'd love to partner with you. I just wanted to, share a little bit about ourselves and our company and how we were founded and our the value that we bring, but also our passion and our strengths. So that way, we kind of align there as we move forward. First, I wanted to say that, we started this company, so we are here in the long run. We're not looking for a short-term gain here. We're looking for a partner where you can really benefit from the investment with us. We have, as you may know from the research you might have done on us, is we've actually done a lot of testing in the field for safety. We have proven to work very efficiently in this space, in this market space. We are also the sole proprietary owner of our product, of the, as you know, of the space vehicles. We are really right now we are the market leader and owning that.
Yep.
We are we have invested a lot in it. Like I said, a very, very strong safety record. We also believe that this industry will be developing in the future very strongly, and it's potentially a multi-billion-dollar industry. And as we're the market leader right now with proven testing and a lot of 25 years of R&D expertise, we believe that our partner in this will benefit greatly in this partnership. So I just wanted to share that about us and kind of let my partner here as well open with some questions, but this is in short, in a nutshell about
Great.
us.
Okay.
I think what we really want to understand, and we're really excited about the potential of this partnership and just what could happen here. But I think we really want to understand is what's in this for you? Like, what are you looking and what are you hoping for out of this? Because I think that's really going to impact and talk about just how we can find the best deal for us.
Sure. Yeah, so from our standpoint, we're, as you know, a venture capital firm. So the whole goal with a venture capital firm is finding businesses such as yourself that are getting into exciting spaces. And the way our firm works is that we pride ourselves on finding successful businesses and growing them more successful. And so we don't pick just every company down the road. We're very strategic in our selection process. And of course, we're with the numbers that we had already talked about, we're talking about a substantial investment.
Yeah.
And so from our standpoint, that's a lot of capital to put out there in you guys, and certainly you guys have some awesome technology. You guys have great experience in this space, and you guys clearly know what you're doing from that standpoint. What's important to us, though, and for our firm and for our employees is, like we said, we don't just pick at anybody. So we're looking for someone specifically that can help with the growth. But we also need to make sure that investment is a safe investment. So safety is extremely important to us in the space. Anytime we talk about transporting humans into space, it's certainly we feel strongly that you guys have good technology, but it's something that's concerning for us from just a safety standpoint. And then also just really mitigating our risk of that investment. How can we make sure that we've got things in place from a growth standpoint, from a projection standpoint, and you guys have thought about the fleet that you want to put up into space. Talk about some, what's interesting to us is sort of the decision making as we move forward.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is for you, at least what you're evaluating is obviously the success and the finances and how that's gonna play out, but safety is a really big concern as well as the decision-making sounds like it's a big deal too.
Correct.
Can I ask you, what are some of your concerns, like walking into this? What at least right now, from what you've seen in our earlier discussions, is giving you some hesitancy?
So one of our concerns is, what if something were to go wrong with one of the vehicles? It were to go up into space and we were to have an accident and we were to have loss of life. That would mean a large investment for us, but most highest priority is the safety of our guests. So is there anything you guys can speak to in terms of safety in that regard?
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, we've done extensive tests, and we are the only ones in the market that have done such specialized tests, and we have already, they were successful, and like I mentioned, we do have 25 years of this experience.
Sure.
We also have aerospace professionals on our board, so people who are actually going this and doing this stuff in right now in real life, they are our source of expertise. We constantly gain new perspectives and new knowledge and ideas from that board, and we continuing developing that. We're not, we've done extensive testing already, and we're supported by a very strong board of professionals who continue to source our development.
And
Is
something to
anything
note
else you'd
too
like to add?
is we have also undergone 15 tours already.
Right.
So this is something that's not just theoretical anymore, and this is ahead of what any of our competition has been able to put out. So we have 15 successful tours already done to date with no incident, which
Right.
already speaks to the safety of that. And we're already beginning to sell some limited tickets to that as well. So the demand is also coming in, but safety is something that we pride ourselves on. And we are definitely ahead of the curve. You are not going to find any other company who is going into this space travel who is going to match us right now.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's very important to us. I just want to make sure
Okay.
we're aligned that safety is very important, and we completely understand that's also important to you, and I think we're aligned there.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Can you guys tell me, or can you tell me a little bit about, your long-term goal of the company, and I guess specifically your guys' role at the company?
Yeah, so currently we operate as CEO
Mhm.
and our split personality. So this is our baby. I mean, this is where our heart and souls come in. Spending time in this industry, knowing it top down from the technology all the way to the competitors and everything there. You're not going to really find anyone else who's more knowledgeable than us
Agreed.
in terms of this.
Yep.
And so we are dedicated to making this succeed. This isn't something, we're not a social entrepreneur and just want to do multiple of these.
Got it.
This is it.
Okay.
This is what everything that's being put into.
Right, and I want to just add that we are, again, like I said before, we're looking for a long-term growth here, a long-term partnership. We're
Yeah.
not looking for just, getting this done, looking for some capital and then leaving. This is our passion. This is what we live by and breathe by, and we're absolutely going to continue investing this long term and seeing this kind of as it unfolds. We're not looking to leave the table. We're also very interested in a partner. We're also very interested in open communications with you. We're interested in mutual respect and to be aligned there. We're also looking for an equitable process for both parties and trust and long-term gains for both. And we believe that for our potential partnership, we would create a win-win situation where both of us would benefit from each other's expertise. So not necessarily just looking kind of take advantage of your capital, and for our benefit, we believe that we could bring great benefit to you too in the long run. So we're really looking for a win-win scenario here, and not just.
Can you tell me a little bit more about, is the running the company an important piece to you, or is it the innovation of the space market and making that a viable option? And the reason I mention it is historically when we've worked with companies like yourselves, you are the only one that can pull this off. We firmly believe that. Getting it off the ground, you guys have done it all from the beginning.
Yes.
So the only way we're gonna get in this with you guys is if you stay on as CEO of the company. However, once we get things throughout, as we move into growth, what we would like to know is, do you want to manage the company day to day? Is that what's important to you, or is it important that you would have decision making in the path, the projection, the technology, and the space of the aircraft or space travel industry? And in our experience, the most successful is bringing in a CEO that can manage the day-to-day financial aspect of things while you guys would drive where the company's going. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, currently it would be both. And the
Okay.
reason why is because this industry is still so new and still so untested, you cannot separate one from the other. And
Okay.
especially since this design is so tied to who we are as not just as a company, but just as the CEO.
Yep.
To walk away and give up some of that, giving up that decision input, especially at this stage, just feels irresponsible all around, and it does not provide the best longevity for us.
So we're thinking more like in 5 years, we get something up and running, and then as the company goes, managing of the finances, the communication back to us. And really, for us to make a deal, the deals we've done previously, we put people like that into place.
So what you're saying is you would like to replace us in 5 years?
And you, not
Guaranteed, not replace as CEO is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So that
And
would
and
be,
we would discuss where you guys would be.
Is
Where
that
you
something
would be.
is that something we can, so like she mentioned, it's very important right now that we maintain these positions because of the all of the development that's going into that. We have to kind of stay in the lead to keep track of it. I understand from your experience you found great success by replacing other CEOs at other companies. I think our company is a little different in that we're so specialized, and we also have that we have that R&D experience for 25 years that we think that it will be very hard to find in somebody else. Is that something in 5 years you would be open to, that we can sit down at the table and look where we are, see what we've accomplished, and then maybe decide on what went well, what you'd like to see moving forward, where we are in a project, and kind of reevaluate how we should proceed?
Yeah, I think from our standpoint, and I'll just say that we're gonna work backwards from growth. If things are growing, things are going well, it's not necessarily a black and white thing where we would look at, you guys are out, someone else is in, but we need to put growth targets in place when we put this sort of capital out.
Right.
So it would be more agreeing to you guys of, let's put growth targets out, and we would like some provisions from your standpoint of, if we're missing those growth targets, then we would look at, is there something, an internal thing, and you guys can focus on what you guys do best, which is the innovating where the company's going, and the managing the P&L expenses, direct expenses, stuff like that from a more financial place. We would put someone in place for that.
what kind of projections are we talking here? Because that can mean a whole lot of different things depending on what kind of expectation of growth. Now, I know we've talked about a lot of potential. However, this is a new industry. And 5 years, although in some realms is quick, this is also an industry that's going to take time to continue developing. So my only concern with this is going to be setting projections or setting guides that may not be realistic, and it's hard to set what's realistic, especially since this is a brand new venture for all of us.
So we would look at, and we can agree on what the numbers were, but we would like to look at what it's like in 5 years.
Well, yes. So are you thinking in terms of, how aggressive are you thinking in terms of looking at this?
I think we'd be looking at double-digit growth, certainly from a,
So you're thinking very aggressive.
yes.
Can I
We're
ask
thinking we'd
you-
like to be in the 150 to 200 million, 150 to 200 million range.
In terms of valuation or in terms of?
In terms of valuation.
I'm going to ask you, in your experience with
Yeah.
other firms that you've partnered, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I guess I should have started by, do you guys have experience running companies previously, like large companies?
Well, we have 25 years of developing this company, and
Agreed.
we've taken it from 0 to now, where we are the market leader, have done all the safety tests.
I guess, do you
So
have
we haven't worked as CEO before, however, we have worked across in managerial positions,
Sure.
across other aerospace corporations, in large space and managing larger amounts.
Yep.
Have we been the sole? No. However, this is 25 years combined experience, so we're also not new on the block.
Completely agree.
I'm just curious, in your previous experience with other firms where you're setting high growth targets, and we're also on board with that we want to grow, and we want to earn money, and we want you to earn with us.
Yep.
We've seen from some other companies that when they set very high growth targets, they kind of miss, they might not be realistic, and then their whole their whole attention is just concentrated on numbers versus what's happening, and maybe things that we need to reinvest in, reevaluate, and continue to work on in order to be successful in the long term, not just for the short term goal targets. Do you have experience, can you speak to that, how it was with your previous partners in terms of like setting very high goals but actually concentrating on other long-term things that go along, not just the numbers?
Yeah, I think that we agree that this is a long-term consideration, but at the same time, this is an area of pretty significant growth, and it's a lot of capital for us.
And that's fair. What I might make a suggestion right now, just because this is a point of tension for us.
Okay.
This is going to be one of the ones that's just going to have a little more impact.
Mm-hmm.
Can we start with some other negotiables and then maybe come back to this table list?
Absolutely.
Because I feel like that will help either ease your mind as we continue going on this other stuff, but also help us figure out how to structure before we decide on just one position.
Okay.
So why don't we just talk first and foremost, just what's the percentage of equity that you're actually expecting?
Yeah, so we're, again, expecting, that $150 to $200 million valuation range. So
Okay.
we would be looking in 50% plus of the company. And, we could look at some other things such as, I think there's a package that goes with that. So I guess we'd like to talk about, to us, the other thing that goes with that is the dividends that would come out of the company. So we would be more inclined to give up a lower percentage on dividends to have a higher percent of ownership in the company.
50% at this point or higher is too high for us. At this point, we would still like controlling share. So you're projecting the valuation to be to 150 million to 200. We're projecting it to be 250 to 300.
That's great.
But to make it proportional for your 100,000, you'd be close to 30%.
Okay. How about from a decision-making standpoint of the board seats?
How many are you hoping for?
We would like to have 3.
If you can agree, 3 is too many at this point, because again, that is not proportional to whatever this capital is, and ideally we would want the board seat membership to be in proportion to whatever the investment is.
Got it.
We were looking at like no board seats at all originally.
Okay.
But we are open
So
to.
for us to
open
do
to-
100 million with you guys, we have to have something.
We're
yes.
no.
No.
We're open to negotiation on that. We're just
3 is too many,
yeah.
but we are open potentially. If you agree to maybe 30%, we would give you 2 board seats.
I would say we're probably in that, I would go down from 50% into that 46 to 49 if we can have a couple seats on the board.
Unfortunately, that still feels too high just in comparison. You are giving 100 million, and that would be a huge gift and something that we very much would appreciate. But again, it comes down proportional to long-term investment, because ultimately it also is our idea, it is our designs, it is our implement and our work that are coming in.
Got it.
I also just want to add to that by partnering with us, we're projecting that you can easily surpass 10 times profits in 5 years. So, you were talking about making an investment that works for you. you actually said that you do believe that we can pull this off.
Yeah,
So it sounds like you do have trust that we can do that.
I think so.
And so we are, in our financial projections, you could easily surpass 10 times in 5 years of what you're investing with us currently.
Okay.
So we believe we have a lot of, not just promise, but backed by data. And so we're just asking for those, negotiables to be a little bit towards our end. And
So I guess it's like, I mean, you've been on this, you've watched this side before. Like, what would you suggest then? How do we overcome this difference then? Because 46 is still pretty high for us, and 30% sounds like it's too low.
Yeah, I think we would go.
What's the compromise we can find here?
Back to our original, goals of investing with you guys. We guys feel strongly with you, but we need to. This is a sizable investment, so we need to have some decision-making ability on the board. We would like to have a majority of the board. Again, we're putting forward a lot of capital.
But you are not putting for majority of the capital what the total valuation will be. And as a result, you cannot, control of the board, that's a no-go. I'm just telling you now.
Okay. Okay. So understand that without, 6 of these vehicles, do you guys have other options to get this up and going?
we do have some options. We'd rather not discuss who we're looking at.
Okay.
But we do have
But there are other conversations.
some other interested firms. Again, we would love to partner with you because of your expertise, and I think that it would be a perfect partnership. So that's why we're still at the table negotiating this. We do have other options, but we would like to work with you and work this out. Do you think that 35% equity would work better for you?
I would really like to be in that 40 range.
Could we do
40.
Would you agree with 40%? $40 is as high as we will go. But we will concede and give you two board seats.
I would do, if we do 40%, I'm gonna need to have 3 board seats.
No go. Unfortunately. Again, it just comes down to what the valuation of this
Okay,
is.
how about, let's talk stock then.
So let's talk stock.
Okay.
So we were thinking common stock. I'm guessing that's.
Common stock is not
What
an
would
option.
what are you looking
We
for
would
then?
like redeemable preferred. And I guess we would settle on convertible, which seems to be the most common place of starting. Common is off the board.
Common is off and redeemable is off, so I guess this means preferred is what we're sticking with. So if you would agree to 40%, we would do preferred stock and 2 board seats. In a good faith gesture too, we can also give you the first right of refusal for anti-dilution rights.
Okay.
Does that feel fair to you?
Let's look at that. That's definitely.
That combination?
That combination sounds better. If we were to do this, there's going to have to be a no-shop provision as well in place.
What else are you willing to offer in order to that? Because although I understand why you wouldn't want a no shop,
Yes.
however, it also puts us at a great disadvantage and potentially could impact our other investors and our employees if you choose to back out, if this does not turn favorable for us.
I would say we would give up, we would definitely re-look at our CEO replacement thing and keep you guys in more of a conservative projection range for what the growth would be of the company. So that would mean that we're not looking at a year-over-year growth in a 5-year span. We would look longer term, so maybe more moderate in that regard.
So you would, moderate projections or conservative, you said both.
Okay.
So which one are you offering?
We would come off of the aggressive and go to the moderate.
Mm-hmm.
Conservative is gonna be very difficult for us.
Can you explain why? I believe you, I want, in order for us, I think to.
It's a rate of return piece. If we don't have provisions in place to make a rate of return, that's how our company works, is we put out 100 million and we expect rate of return in return of that.
let's come back.
What if we were to bump your equity to 41%? That
In order for
That's-
conservative projections.
That's in order to have conservative projections, because we do, like I said before, we are, you're going to make 10 times more with us in 5 years. You're gonna make your money back, right? You believe that we can pull this off. We do have the expertise, and by bumping you by that 1%, that's millions in the long term. Would you be? But for that, we would have to move back to conservative projections.
Conservative projections are not working for us.
Let's come back, well, okay, they're not working, so is that a no deal if it's conservative projections? I just want to be clear on this.
It's not a no deal, but we need to, if we did conservative projections, we would need to have some serious ownership in the company, and we would need to have.
Which 41%
Is not
compares,
serious.
it is compared to the potential valuation.
For us, it's not serious. We need to have a higher percentage into a company than 40% if we're gonna be pushing that much money towards the initial.
Well, you're
deal.
pushing a lot of money, but we're also, projecting a lot of profits for you, right? So it's not,
Agreed.
right, it's not
It's a
like.
percentage
So
gain.
let's come back again to this.
How about vesting of founder shares?
Let's talk about vesting.
We would like to be in that 5-year range.
If you can bring us down to 41% equity, 2 board seats, as well as conservative projections, we can give you 5 years investing.
No shop in place?
Right,
We haven't decided on the no shop provision yet, but
well, that's
gonna depend, I think, on where we land and the confidence that we're feeling in each other at the end of this. For the provision included or not included.
right.
I think we can make that work. So 5 years and we'll look at 41%.
41%, 5 years, 2 board seats. We'll still need to decide dividends.
Yep. We have anti-dilution in place.
Conservative projections, and then 5 years. 41% here. Okay. So what we still need, and then convertible preferred, yeah. So
I
then
think
what
we
we
landed
need,
on convertible.
yeah, sorry, on here it's written as convertible, but it's the same thing, so yeah.
Okay.
Convertible, okay, so dividends. How are we feeling?
This is our last piece.
Dividends, and then we'll end up with a no shop provision, whether or not, or
No shop has to be on the table.
has to be on the table. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Let's talk about
I
dividends.
want my dividends. I think 4 to 7% is a reasonable suggestion.
Why do you say it's reasonable?
We would typically like 10% more on dividends.
I'm just asking why. I understand you can ask for more,
Yeah.
but what I asked is why do you think this is reasonable? Why is why have you decided on 4 to 7?
4 to 7 is about an average of what we would get out of a company in terms of dividends on a reoccurring quarterly basis. So again,
So that's what you've gotten from other projects, is about that average.
That seems to be historic.
Okay, so that's based on a historic number. Our concern with too high of dividends
Agreed, yep.
is that it's going to basically eventually be a lose-lose for both of us, because it could diminish the overall shareholders' incentives. And so 7 feels awfully high. How are we feeling on the lower end?
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about it, but it does feel really high. We're not really ready to move forward with that percentage. I also want to say about the no-shop provision that you keep mentioning that you'd like there, right? We kind of feel a little bit put off by that, just because it seems like we both want a long-term relationship based on mutual respect and equitable process, and it seems like you wanting to include that is is not really a fair play, and you know, we would start like our work in the beginning like this, you know, like our partnership, it just doesn't seem like something you would expect from a partner who is looking for mutual respect and equal process, right? Because it puts us at a disadvantage, so we're a little put off by that you're.
So,
I guess what assurance do we have that this isn't gonna bite us in the ass at the end?
that we're putting forward a lot of things, we're giving up a lot of stuff, and
Correct.
we're trusting in you guys. And so it feels like you're taking us to the dance and then you're bringing someone else to the dance.
We don't want
Well,
to
we're
bring
not bringing, like I said.
I think the thing is, because this period is evaluation, right? This is the point of saying, do I really want to make a commitment to you? Obviously, you're evaluating us, and you should. You should look at all our safety. You should look at everything and compare, because you're right, lives are at stake. This is a big deal. And I think we have a lot that really can offer here.
Mm-hmm.
I think our just concern is that if something changes, even in your firm, of the ability to, you know, if someone's feels too aggressive to give that much money or X, Y, Z, we just don't want to feel like we're being left, you know, 6 months behind, you know, especially in an industry that's changing so quickly. That's our concern. So if there's some way that you can find out that we can somehow work, we'd be maybe willing to do a no-shop provision.
We would give up, if you feel like you're being left behind, we would do a lower dividend stake, which would help out from a cash flow perspective.
Okay.
So we would go down to that 1 or 2% on a dividend coming off of our 7 and include the no-shop provision in place.
I feel like that's reasonable, and I feel like I thank you for that offer, because I do understand that's a good faith gesture.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with that, we then could agree to include a no-shop provision with the understanding that you would do only 1 to 2% dividends.
Sure.
That seems reasonable and
Thank you for that.
in alignment with where we both want to go in the mutual respect towards each other and the long-term partnership, and not just focusing on the short-term, you know, numbers here.
So just to make sure we're all on the same page, we're agreeing to a 41% equity percentage
Yes.
in the convertible type of stock, 1 to 2% dividends, the VC right of first refusal, 2 members on the board, 4 to 5 year or 5 years in shares investing, conservative projections, and a provision included.
Agreed.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to doing business with you, and we are excited to see where this partnership takes us.
Yeah.
And we appreciate your flexibility and willingness to work with us.
We're very excited to move forward, and we'll be in touch on the next steps.
Okay, good job. Good deal.